And here's a creepy carved into your face pumpkin mask type thing. Block out your brows with a craft glue stick and just kind of smush the glue in there until they are nice and flat against your skin. Some people prefer to use Vaseline for this, so if you prefer that, then go for it. Then take a detail brush and some eyeshadow or eyeliner, any colour you want, because we're going to cover this up with latex, and just map out your rough design. So I'm going with the traditional pumpkin, triangle eyes, triangle nose, and then a kind of jagged, creepy mouth. When you do the mouth, try not to make it too small and detailed, otherwise it's going to be really fiddly to do the latex and it will take a really long time. I went pretty small with mine and it did take a long time to do the latex, but it all depends how much time you have and how you want the look to come out. Take some tissues, mine have puppies on them, and try and separate the sheets, which is kind of tricky sometimes. This is how I look in the supermarket trying to open one of the carrier bags. Come on girl, you can do it. Then rip your tissue into the sizes that you're going to need, and I like to rip off all of the straight edges because straight edges are really hard to hide underneath latex. Roll up one of the strips that's going to go around your eye. Put down a thin layer of latex over where you're going to put that rolled up sheet. Stick it down into the latex and rip off any extra. Cover over that with another layer of latex. Then stick down a flat sheet of tissue, and you want it to go further out than the roll on the outside edge, but to just cover it on the inside edge. So that on the inside we end up with a really raised edge, and on the outside it blends more into the skin. Cover that with latex and then put down another sheet the same way on top of that and add a final layer of latex. Normally you'd let latex dry in between each layer so that you've got a really flat, nice, blendable surface, but we actually want this to look really kind of scarry and rough and textured. So I'm just putting wet latex on top of kind of sticky latex, and so it pulls it up a bit and gives us that texture. So latex, rolled up piece, latex, flat piece, latex, flat piece, latex. Done. The mouth is a little bit different. We're just going to do all of those rolled up pieces first. So you're just going to go latex, rolled up piece, latex. And we'll worry about the blending afterwards. It's much easier if you have all of these like rolled up pieces done before you start the latex, because if you touch tissue with latex hands, then everything is sticky and it's just a bit of a nightmare. Instead of doing a million little rolled up pieces, you could probably do it with a few long rolled up pieces, because once the tissue and latex is on your face, there's kind of this magical point where the tissue becomes super moldable. So you could put it on and then just shape it around the teeth that you want, and it would probably be way faster than what I'm doing, and I really wish I thought of this when I was doing the look. Anyway, enough of that, let's fast forward. Once you're finished with the teeth, cover the whole mouth area in latex. Take a biggish piece of ripped up tissue and lay it down over one section of the mouth. And cover that in another layer of latex. Take the latex quite high towards your eye because we want all that texture to be on our cheeks. Do the same thing for all the other parts of the mouth until the whole thing is covered. So latex, tissue, latex. Once all the latex is dry, give it a good powder with some face powder or talcum powder or whatever to take away the stickiness of the latex. Then I'm taking a light brown face paint that's darker than my own skin tone and stippling over all of the latex. We're going to be painting over this anyway, but it just gives us a more even base to paint over. And don't worry about being too neat. Like I say, we're painting over this anyway. You can probably skip most of this step, but I'm taking a foundation and a concealer and just kind of going over areas of my face to give it more of a skin tone. but you really only need to go around the edges of the eyes and the edges of the mouth, all the kind of really raised areas with your concealer or your foundation. I wanted to give it kind of a skin look underneath, but to be honest, most of this got covered up with the painting. To make the skin look really kind of bruised and distressed, I'm using a makeup wedge that I've just picked holes in the end of so it's really textured. And I'm just stippling on some bruise type colours like reds and blues, purples, tiny bit of black, a bit of brown. And the best way to do this is to really build it up in thin layers. You don't want to end up with like a really thick layer of red on your face, because you can always go back, so you can add some red, put some blue on, a bit more red, until you get the desired kind of depth of colours you're going for. Once you're happy with your skin, take some red face paint and just fill in all the areas within those raised latex areas that we've built up. Try and make sure that the red stays inside of the lines and only goes onto the inside edge of the latex. You don't want it to go over the edge or it will ruin the kind of raised effect. Then take a black face paint and go around the inside edges of all of those raised areas. This is our shadow to give it a bit more depth. And once you've put on all the black, you don't want it to look kind of too harsh and like a cartoon line. So just take your finger and blend it out a bit. You can put a bit of water on your finger to blend it even more if you want, but keep it quite close to those edges. And finally, add some blood to inside of the mouth and the eyes and the nose. Be really careful around your eyes. You don't want to go too close to your actual eyeballs with blood. And that's it, guys, you're done. Only another 11 and a half months until it would be reasonable to wear this.